Sat Sri Akal, welcome back. Today we're talking to Julie Solomon and Candice Feldman from Corporate Hiring Solutions, and they're telling us how you can write your resume and how to present yourself at an interview. Now, with that said, I'm going to come back and talk to you about the body of the resume, Candice. How important is it to have that? When you're looking at a resume, you have the first objective, as they call it, or whatever you want to call it. How important is it to have that?
I think if you're making a career change, an objective is a good thing to have on your resume. Or maybe just one line saying, I'm looking for a paralegal position, or I'm looking for an administrative assistant position. I think anything more than that is really unnecessary. A resume is really supposed to show more about your work experience, a professional, professionally about you, what you've done.
Okay.
I do think that if you have a language, that is certainly helpful. That should go on the resume. And also something that sets you apart, whether you play the piano, the guitar, you sing, those are things that are important as well.
Okay. So those you would put up in the objective part of it?
No,
or you would put it on
that
the
I
bottom?
would put on the bottom.
You would put that on the bottom as your hobbies and personal likes and dislikes of it. And what do you think, Julie?
I think it really depends on what kind of industry they come from. If they're, an IT professional, companies just want to see target IT words, their skills, programs that they have knowledge of. If it's a marketing type of resume, I think that's where you could really stand out and put a creative personality profile on the top of the resume and put bullet points. But not just about team player or ambitious. You don't want to sound like everyone else. What kind of project did you work on that really makes you stand out? If I was to do a reference check as a recruiter, what would that supervisor say about you? How you stood out from other people? That's where you could sell yourself on the resume. Just putting bullet points like right in the, I call it like personality profile. Take out a lot of those adjective words and put them up there, like accomplished marketing professional that has worked with these type of companies and worked on these type of projects, just really short to the point. Okay. Maybe like 2 sentences long.
Okay, and people actually do, depending on which industry you're in, people are actually looking at that.
I mean, accolades, and again, things that set you apart from your competition are things that should be on there, but not generic words like hardworking, diligent, ambitious. I mean, these are things that everyone words that everyone thinks of themselves when they're applying for a job. So again, how you can beat out the competition, things that put you a level above.
Okay, all right. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ resume submit ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਜਿਹੜਾ top line ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ objective, try ਕਿ ਅਗਰ 2-3 sentences ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ अलग सारियां तो अलग डिफरेंशिएट करके दस सकते हो। जे तुसी कहोगे कि हार्ड वर्किंग हो, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड हो, डिलीजेंट हो, ये सारे ही होंदे ने ते उसदे अंदर और तुहाडे अंदर दूजे अंदर और तुहाडे अंदर फर्क की है? नथिंग। पर जे तुसी उसदे अंदर लिखो कि तुसी कुछ अकम्पलिश कीता है, कोई प्रोजेक्ट, गोल, टास्क, जेहड़ी चीज़ां तुसी अकम्पलिश कीतियां ने, ट्राई कि अगर तुसी वो टैगलाइन अंदर पा दो, that will make a difference, क्योंकि फिर बंदा कहेगा कि ठीक है इसने कीता हैगा, let me take a look at this first. So now you're ahead of the game on that. Now talking about that, when you say you've accomplished a goal or a task, some people might write things that they might not have done. That's something I know when I've interviewed people, they write things and then when you sit down and talk to them and it's like, oh, well, and it's like, what happened here? So, how realistic do companies actually call and follow up and find out if they, reference checks?
Checks. Yes, I always do reference checks myself. Candice definitely does reference checks as well. We have to do our due diligence and, do the reference check. And that's at that time you ask that previous supervisor, did they do A, B, and C? And questions relevant to what the employer is looking for. Okay,
so you guys do your reference checks, and I'm sure once they further go for an interview, they might do their reference checks also. They're not just going to take your word for it.
Exactly.
So it's always somebody else who's going to be checking on that. So a person who's presenting their resume better be careful what they're writing.
Say. Yes,
yeah, it's customary that clients do reference checks now before giving offers from people that they have worked with, not personal references, co-worker references.
And extensive background checks too.
Okay, that's another thing that's going on
Yes,
these days.
especially big
checks.
companies.
Okay.
They will do it to the T. What was on your W-2? You better be accurate with that W-2 information.
Really?
Yes, I've had that
Absolutely.
happen recently. So
Pay stubs. A lot
Pay
of
stub-
companies
they'll
are
ask for
asking
pay
for
stubs.
pay stubs.
yes, they're
These
allowed
People
to.
are
do
lying.
that.
Yes.
Oh yes, now
Oh my
very
God.
thorough.
Yeah, I've
Very
definitely
thorough.
been at this for a long time. My God.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't ever recall submitting, you just write down what you made and be it true, not true, but no one ever asked to provide anything to verify that.
Yes.
Big companies definitely have.
Corporations,
Yes.
banks, big companies, all asking for W-2s.
But let me ask you something now with that aspect. Are they asking this for administrative positions also, or are we talking about executive positions?
References certainly across the board.
Across the
but,
board.
No, not references.
Oh, the
As far
background
as
check
verifying
across the
background
board.
check.
Yes, across the board.
Okay, so
I've-
you better
I've
not
had-
lie on this thing either.
No,
Oh, no,
I just
that would
I
not
had
be smart.
just placed an insurance administrative assistant had the background check. It doesn't matter what level.
Okay.
So
Wow.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Now ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ resume submit ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, make sure ਜਿਹੜੀ information ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈ it's accurate and it's verifiable, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਗਲਤ ਲਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ previous employers ਨੂੰ verify ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, they should be able to say what you've written on your resume. ਨਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ salary ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਤੇ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਵੀ ਸੀ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਈ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਉਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਦੇ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਰਾਈਟ ਟੂ ਕਮ ਐਂਡ ਆਸਕ ਯੂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਰਿਟਰਨਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਾਂ W-2 ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੇ ਸਟੱਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਸੋ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੈਲਰੀ ਕਹੀ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਤੇ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਯੂ ਆਰ ਏਬਲ ਟੂ ਰਾਈਟ, ਯੂ ਆਰ ਏਬਲ ਟੂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਦੈਟ। ਆਲਸੋ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਚੈੱਕਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈਗਾ। ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਹਰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਚੈੱਕਸ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਨਾਲ you think ki tada resume or character might not look good, make sure you're upfront about that. Now, going into from the resume aspect of it, let's go into the presenting yourself into an interview.
Oh, can I just say something else
Go
about
ahead.
dates? Dates are extremely important.
Dates.
Yes,
Okay.
this is something that they look for.
They
Please make sure that the dates on your resume are verifiable.
Okay.
And also what a lot of people do is they'll put just the years and not the dates.
Yeah.
If someone puts 2007 to 2008, you don't know if they were there for a month from December of 2007 to January 2008.
Okay.
So I think that months are very important as well, because it could be 2 years from 2007 to 2008. It could be 1 month. It could be 6 months in order to get credit for the time that you've been working.
Okay. It doesn't have to be exact dates like May 1st
No,
to
no,
January 12th
no,
kind of
but
thing. It could just be
The
from May
month.
2007 to
Correct.
December 2008.
Exactly.
Just have the
But
month
it is
and the
important
year.
to have the months in order
Okay.
to get the credit that you deserve.
That part I knew. So now let's talk about when you have, once we're past Kansas stage, we get our foot in the door and we're in that interview. What is the first thing, Julie, you look at when someone walks in the door?
How they present themselves, how
Okay.
they appear, how are they dressed, are they wearing perfume? Is it too strong? Is it offensive? These are things companies definitely look at. How is their shoes? Do they better not be scuffed? Also nail polish. I've had people come in before with black nail polish on or tattoos. I've seen that before, and I've told people they need to really, hide that on the interview. Companies don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So it's the first thing I look at is how the person appears. How do they present themselves?
Okay.
Also, self-confidence. You could tell that right away.
The minute they walk in.
Yes, and probably the other big thing, so there's a lot of things I'm looking at, is handshake. Handshake means a
Firm.
lot.
It
Very
does.
firm.
Oh,
That
I
means
totally
a lot.
agree with you.
Yes.
I totally
Yes.
agree with you. So you
Yes.
know what? We're gonna do different handshakes. I want to definitely show people how these handshakes are done. But before I do that, we wanna Julie ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਰੈਸਡ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸੈਲਫ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਸ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, you're confident about yourself, and at the same time ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਪਾਏ ਨੇ। Perfume, I would never have thought that, but yeah, I guess ਤੁਹਾਡਾ perfume ਅਗਰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ strong ਹੈ, ਕਈਆਂ ਨੂੰ offensive ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ। Cologne, same thing. ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ हो सकता है उस बंदे ਨੂੰ ਐਲਰਜੀਜ਼ ਹੋਣ ਸੋ ਥਿੰਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਥੀਸ ਥਿੰਗਸ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੋਚੇਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਓਗੇ ਉਨੇ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ chances are better how you present yourself.
First impressions
is the lasting impression.
Yes, exactly. You know, hair back, and you know, for women, I think little balls or little earrings. I mean, certainly nothing dangling.
Really? Okay.
Yes, you want to appear as professional as possible. Believe it or not, smoking. Don't have a cigarette before you walk into that interview. People have done that before. These are little things that you just don't think about, but it really could be very offensive. Also, like I said, again, cologne, perfume, if it's too strong, that's going to be offensive.
Okay.
You know, you definitely have to pay attention to that.
Eye contact as well.
Eye contact, yes, very important.
Okay.
Body language, are they confident? And believe it or not, cell phone. I've had people come into an interview with me and answer their cell phone in front of me. And
turn off your cell phone. Make sure.
Right. That's you know, that's just it's common sense. It's common sense, but believe it or not, you need to reinforce these things sometimes and tell people.
Oh wow.
You wouldn't believe it, but
I would never have thought that.
Yes.
I would never have. You know what? An average interview with you would last how long? Give or take.
It really depends. I would say anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
It depends on the position. It depends on how thorough I need to find out about details about that person's resume, how much they match the skill set that I'm looking for in the company. It really depends. It really depends.
See, the reason I ask is because if a mom or dad are going in and you know they're worried that God forbid my child's going to call me, you know, let your spouse or let your kids know ahead of time that I'm not going to be available from 10 to 10:30. Anything happens, call your mom or dad. Don't call, you know, if it's a father going, say, you know what, call mom, I'm not available today. Let your kids know. So that way you're comfortable turning a phone off. Because I know if I'm going somewhere, I definitely do that. If I know I have to turn my phone off, I'll say, you know what, don't call me today. I am not available in this time frame. So call dad or, you know, make alternative arrangements ahead of time.
Right.
So it's good that you said that. I never thought of it for an interview perspective. I didn't think people would answer their phone during an interview either.
And also a ear set. People have walked in with the earpiece in them. It's like, okay, you can take it out now. You know, so
people actually do these things.
Yes, they have.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, these are little things that we, I guess we take a lot of stuff for granted. We just think people won't do a lot of these things. But please do turn your cell phones off for an interview and don't answer your phone while you're in an interview. At the same time, the headphones and Bluetooths, they just don't look cool when you're walking in for that interview. We'll take a short break. Asik chota ja break like hone wapas aane and then we're going to show you different handshakes